All right, welcome back, guys. We're back inside the lab again. This is week 5. It's going to be we're having to patch this one back in, but we do think we've got everything kind of worked out now. I think from this point forward, we're going to have our sound issues kind of rectified. I don't anticipate this being a problem moving forward.
Hopefully it does sound a little better for you guys this week.
Yeah, but we're going to jump right back in here. We're happy to redo our first segment. So we've actually re-recorded the whole show already, but we're going to do our intro over here just because the sound wasn't right. So let's just jump right in here. The first thing we were talking about, Jason, where were we at?
Injuries. Another rash of some high-profile players being injured. Obviously, you had the 2 guys go down. Your top 2 wideouts go down.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson gets dinged up. Warren's a scratch right before the Steelers game. McLaurin's been hurt in and out of the lineup. Bucky gets hurt. I know he was a backup running back, but he was in Mark's starting lineup with Allen getting hurt.
Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing the ramifications of that. He's got a different running back in from the same team now, so we're on 3rd running back at that team.
Yeah, so when you combine those with the CeeDee Lambs and the Kittles and all those guys, the Burrows, it's been a lot this year.
Yeah, so I joked about it earlier, and I'll do it again. I almost came in here in all black Johnny Cash style today just because I was going to kind of come here and just in mourning. I feel like I lost the heartbeat of my team because, I wasn't setting the world on fire by any means. And the only 2 players I had steady consistency from were going to be Malik Neighbors. And oddly enough, it was Tyreek Hill. It wasn't Tyreek Hill that you guys think it was.
Yeah.
It was a 12 to 15 Tyreek Hill, but it was steady.
Well, what it does, it goes to show you how the league can change week to week. You go from being, undefeated, top of your division. Now you're sitting there going, "Oh man, I gotta put some stuff together." And
yeah, I don't feel like anybody fears me at this point.
Yeah, so it's like so the guys in your division looking at you, I think I can get him now.
Yeah.
So it changes things. That's why you got to stay after it week by week.
Yeah, you're right, and that's why you got to be. And we talked about it. I believe we talked about it in every episode if you really look hard enough. But paying attention to Tuesdays and injuries is going to be very key, especially if you're a team that is on the top end of that waiver order each week.
Yeah, I mean, even like we said, pay attention to the injuries. You get up Sunday morning, Steelers have that early game. Warren goes down, Gainwell comes in, huge game.
Yeah,
you got to stay on top of some of that stuff.
You really do. And again, I don't know if this has made it into the video, so I just want to touch on it again, but just to kind of show how deep you need to go. So when we pull up the player list and when we hit a position, quarterback, running back, whatever we choose, it puts them, it puts them in an order. That order is based off those projections. You can change how that order is.
That order is for people like Dan.
Yes, it is based off. It is a guess of who's going to be best next week.
And projections change day by day based off of injuries.
So scroll down the player list, and I did last week. And when you start to read, I was able to find Woody Marks after waiver Wednesday, late in the week, after reading about, while Nick Chubb's not doing anything to lose his job, there's a guy here that might just be doing enough to take his job.
The odd thing about that is not only you got to just pay attention on, but he played the Colts that week, and I know a lot of people pay attention to the Colts game.
Yeah.
How are more guys not saying, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah, I mean, I feel like me being able to luck into him allowed me to be able to trade Kyren Williams. And this is what we talk about when we're talking about why you stay active on the waiver wire. So I should have never gotten Woody Marks.
No.
I mean,
not being undefeated at that
moment. I was 3-0 and I was 11 on the waiver list.
Right.
He should have never seen my roster. So to me, everybody failed there. It made Kyren Williams expendable in my mind because I had to be able to offer a chip to be able to bring in some sort of replacements for Neighbors and Hill. That's where we're at. But that just kind of goes to show you.
Now you're going to need a few more of those guys.
Oh, I need a lot more. But I mean, it just goes to show you how working the waiver wire can actually be beneficial if you do it the right way.
Plus, not only that, we got some guys that's going to be coming back. Daniel's coming back this week. Godwin came back last week a little bit. Some bigger name kind of guys.
That one I'm anxious to see if he actually starts finding, the old Chris Godwin because it has
it'll probably take a little bit of time.
But it does have a multitude of effects because it affects other players when we're talking about Ebicam, when we're talking about, Bucky Irving. Yep. But just having another playmaker on that team, and then when Mike Evans does eventually come back,
who's really going to get the ball?
Yeah. In? So where's this all going to shake out? So that's going to be fun and interesting to see. But as we look down some of these standings now, we've got only one undefeated team.
team.
That's you.
That's me. two of you at 3-1. Big Fish and you.
Yeah.
We got the one guy that hasn't won yet, but I feel like that things are going to change pretty quickly.
It might change this week because he's got a good opponent.
Beats and Mark's Monstrous, they got the 1-3 record, and everybody else is 2-2. I mean, we got 6 of them 2-2. So it's pretty close. I mean,
when you put out records like that, I mean, one thing that stands out to me, like Beats by Ray is not a 1-3 team.
No, if you puts up 100.
That's 175 last week. I wouldn't want to play him.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's.
Yeah. So it's a week by week, especially the early part of the season until everybody kind of finds their groove. I mean, defenses are just now being established. Like, we go into this preseason rankings when we're talking about defenses. I don't think anybody really understands right now that the Jacksonville Jaguars are like the second-ranked fantasy defense right now.
You get some kick returns, punt returns, stuff like that.
Just weird things happen, man.
A few sacks, a couple interceptions.
Yeah, and I know like ESPN does a lot of their ratings off of yardage and things like that, but I mean these are still numbers that mean things,
Right.
So whenever you're seeing defenses like that, these are not ones that we anticipated being kind of formidable defenses.
Well,
the Chargers are another toughie.
Then the other side of that, teams like the Ravens that everybody just expects to be a defensive powerhouse. Look where they're at.
I know.
They're giving up all kinds of points, not scoring any fantasy points at all. They're almost going negative.
Yeah,
because they're giving up so many points each week.
And then you look at my defense, which was the Minnesota Vikings the week before, we put up a 30.
Yeah.
And then I go up against Mason last week, and I don't even know if they played.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's just how it is with defenses. Week to week, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. So,
but definitely, and then the other big thing this week is we're starting to see some more trades.
Yeah, they do see. Like, I'm starting to wonder if it's going to be a trend where we're going to see at least a trade a week.
And I think these injuries are kind of forcing some hands. Like, hey, people's got to put some stuff together because there's been some big injuries out there, and you got to rebound somehow. I mean, you're after anybody that you can get right.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, it's definitely put me in a bind. But my gosh, I mean, it makes you look so smart and being willing to draft those running backs.
I am smart.
I mean, I know you think you are, but just you get to be the last laugh right now because you're in the driver's seat. Yeah. You can't play those running backs,
but I
watching running backs, watching.
But I can keep them off your roster.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So whenever you got guys that are scrambling to find running backs and Judkins is not available.
Yeah.
Because Judkins is a guy that nobody's thinking about.
You really look at some lineups this week. Now the bye weeks are coming in. I mean, Mark, we talk about him. He don't really have a good number 2 option. He's another Jet.
Yeah.
Another backup Jet at that.
Right.
I mean, there's other guys out there.
JJ's Masterclass got both of his running backs on a bye this week.
Yeah, I mean,
but he couldn't even go in and replace him. We're talking about Mark's Monstrous is running a third Jets receiver or running back into his starting lineup, keeping in mind that Breece Hall is in another starting lineup in our fantasy league. So this is the shit we're doing.
And his number 1, Harvey, is in a lineup where Dobbins is in somebody else's.
Yes,
lineup.
This is
he's running with 2 twos, and
it's tough out here, man.
But yeah, it makes things interesting. And like we said earlier, bad things happen, and it just kind of opens the doors for other teams. So,
I mean, one man's failure is another man's success usually. So
yeah, I mean, especially when we talk about somebody like Beats, you come out 0-3, and it's like, well, he's where's he going? Then all of a sudden he throws up 175.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and it looks good doing it. And I feel like early on he was kind of making some wrong moves.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of settled into what his lineup is.
But it looks like he can sustain some pretty good points.
I think so.
When we talk about that number of 120 being a good number to kind of, I mean, he looks like he's going to score that 120 pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, for a 1-3 team, I mean, power ranking wise, I know we're not ready to start that yet, but I think later on in the season we will. But I'm going to tell you just on a flyer, I got Beats in top 5.
Well, I will tell you right now, as 1-3 goes, he is the best 1-3 team in the league.
Oh yeah,
by far. Yeah.
There's only 2 of them, right?
Yeah. So he's got that going for him.
Right. Well, there you go, Tim.
And if you're wondering, Team Johnson, you're the best team that haven't won yet.
Yeah, I would.
I mean, he is the best one.
He's definitely the best 0-win team. So that's our intro, guys. Enjoy the rest of the video. Just want to jump back in and kind of redo this part so you guys get started off on the right note and everything else makes sense because it never does to us.
And some breaking news on this video. I think we cut it down to a lot quicker video this time.
But it's still probably going to be long. I'll be interested to see how long it does.
Yeah, maybe not the 2-hour mark this time.
I don't think you guys are going to get bored watching this one, though.
Nope. Right on.
All right, we'll see you guys.
See you.
All right, welcome back. Hopefully the sound's a little bit better. We do still have some technical issues that we're working through. I think we may have found the answer
Maybe
of what's been going on.
but I think we got it.
You know, we'll just leave that for the behind the scenes guys. But either way, hopefully it sounds a little bit better here from here on out for you guys. I think we have kind of crossed the threshold here. We'll get this thing working a little bit better for you guys. With that being said, let's get right into it, Jay. What we got first?
Hey, first, that matchup we just talked about, Twin Bowers taking down what we thought was one of the top teams going into this with I Know Ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though we were talking about how the Twin Bowers have been hitting with these injuries,
yeah,
he's pieced together a win there.
Yeah, and it didn't feel like he backdoored it either. I mean,
no.
I kind of, in my mind, I've been saying it. That 120 seems to be kind of where you're either
well, we're 119, 127, so both of them are right there in that ballpark.
And that's, to me, that's competitive fantasy games, at least as far as the early part of the season goes.
I think it came down to Monday night. Drew was down. Bo Nix was there. I don't remember how many he was down. But
he was down 20. He needed 20, or he needed 19 points to win.
And I think he got to 26 or 27 out of Nix, which is enough to put him into it.
What I thought was interesting about that, and I didn't watch a lot of football this past weekend, but I did watch that game for a little while. But what I did think was interesting was, for a quarterback, 20 points isn't a gimme anymore.
No, you see a lot of 10, 11, 12, but I mean, you do see those 30-point games.
You do, but they're fewer and farther between. But the thing that stuck out to me about it was he hit that benchmark probably in the second drive. There was still more than 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. So I was just impressed with how quickly he got to that number. Left it up to no.
But if you watch the first half of that game, when not a whole lot was really going on until Nix ran in that first touchdown.
Yeah.
And then he still needed a lot more points to go after that.
I'm telling you, those running quarterbacks are just
well, that was his first one of the year too.
Was
it? That wasn't like he's been doing that all
year.
Yeah,
so. I was watching a thing about Drake May. I know it's a different subject, but talking about that's a big thing for him too, and what makes him so good. So it's just the way of the NFL nowadays. But again, back to Drew though, just a great comeback for him. I know in kind of that state of limbo that he's been in with kind of the injuries that he's up against and some kind of trades that were looming over his head. So good for him to be able to get out there and kind of get after Braden there. I think it's going to be a little bit of a different story for him this week. We'll talk about that when we get into the matchups for next week.
But even Braden there, you know, Egbuka putting up another huge game. And then the other guy that we talked about is the A.J. Brown, the up and down.
Yeah.
And up and
so
down.
We want to talk about, you know, if you're Mark Johnson, this is the week you feel good about it, because Tyler Warren also got 18 points.
Right.
And not that he used Travis Hunter, but Travis Hunter also got, I believe, 7.
Right.
So, you know, A.J. Brown puts up a 6. Mark's 2 players in return put up a 25.
And I think that's what they're. 1 week, one guy's going to benefit that trade. The next week, the other guy's going to benefit a little bit. So kind of shows it right there, didn't it?
I think so. And I think for Braden, he's going to be finding out the hard truth about A.J. Brown, that I don't think it's going to be what he hoped it was going to be when he made that trade. I think he wanted some sort of stability there, and I just don't think A.J. Brown has that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not going to be that average 15, 18 points.
There's just not enough volume there for any receiver on that team. Just too many
weapons. You know, I've seen a stat on him, though. He is actually getting the targets.
Is he?
It's just that, you know, it's bad throws, bad situations.
Well, I did hear his completion rate his completion percentage is under 50%.
Yes.
For him. So that means the balls that are being thrown to him, he's catching less than 50% of those.
Right.
So that can't be good. But, you know, Braden, he's going to work it. I'm not real worried about whether or not he's going to be a formidable opponent moving forward. We know he is. He tends to make the right moves, and it looks like he hit the home run with Egbuka. So
yeah, but I don't know that, you know, right now Egbuka's putting up game after game after game. Nobody's ever really just sustained that all year long.
Yeah, I mean, I don't come out of this past week thinking what I thought about Braden going into it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but let's go ahead and wrap that one up. Great win for Drew, 127-119. I think it evens up their records. Not that means anything, but that head-to-head win could mean something later on in the year.
Yeah, right now I think that puts them both 2-2.
So those wins against those non-division opponents are big for tiebreakers, because it's going to be the only tiebreaker. When we're tie-breaking division teams, it gets a little tougher. But if you're matched up with somebody who's in a different division, it's going to be real simple when you only play them once to figure out who won that game, and that's going to be the tiebreaker. So these are big wins.
That could come up big for Drew at the end of the season.
Absolutely. So, all right, we'll be right back, guys. All right, let's move right on to the next game. Looks like it was going to be the Warden versus Big Fish. Another kind of exciting game. I know it kind of looked like a blowout for a while. Ended up being a 10-point finish. I'll let you kind of dive into some of those notes you got over there.
Yeah, Warden going into Monday night, he was way down, but his top four guys were ready, sitting there ready to go. Thing with him is, he made that move on the running back, putting Jordan Mason in, and pulling out Genty. And when you lose by 10 and leave that big number there on your bench,
Yeah, I mean, it's like I gotta wonder if that's like I'd love to pick his brain on that. I'm sure he's got an explanation if it was just strictly matchups.
I know we've been critical of Genty all year long because he ain't done nothing yet. But
have you seen anything on that, like on sort of the story behind that?
No.
So you remember Genty in college? He had this weird Michael Myers.
Oh yeah, he went back to it this week.
Well, the coach told him not to do it for the first what you've seen all season,
right?
And he brought it back this weekend. He says it just for whatever reason just makes him feel more in tune with the game.
Well, he sure had a hell of a game with it. That's for sure. Big Fish, though, his receiving core being top notch, probably the best receiving core in fantasy.
I mean, they're putting up 60s together, or combined, I say, and I don't think that's going to change. We just talked about that off the air. I don't think that's going to be a fluke. I mean, they're going to put up 25, 30 points on somewhat of a regular basis.
And here's the thing is, Dan's even putting up these big scores every week, or those consistent scores, and he's not even getting the quarterback right every week. He's got 3 of them on the team, and he's always picking the wrong one of the bunch.
Get rid of one of those, man. Just like
still putting up those kind of numbers. So
it's hard enough to pick out 2 guys to make the right decision. Get rid of Geno Smith.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be looks like that week. Last week he tried to play the matchup game with the quarterback. It ended up not mattering for him, but in a tighter game, that could have been a big difference there.
Yeah, you hate to leave those points on the bench, but again, I mean, it's something that we don't talk about. But like, we're also that's $50 on the line to be that high score for 1 week. So
right.
You want to emphasize.
I mean, I know Fields was coming back from injury, but that was his starter coming out of the draft.
Yeah.
Why didn't you roll out with your dog? Obviously coming off that injury, though, might have had a little bit to do with it.
Yeah, and did the CD Lamb injury scare him away from Dak?
Dallas looked so bad the week before.
Right.
I can kind of get that a little bit.
I can, but it's just they throw so much. It's like there's going to be opportunities there.
Right. So, but definitely big win there for Big Fish. Keeps him up in the 3-1 range. It's one of the top records in the league. Scott Falls at 2-2, along with half the other.
Yeah, missed a big opportunity there to kind of piggyback on me losing my first game, kind of get in kind of a wrestling match there at the top of our division, but didn't happen. Leaves me up there by myself, so I'll hold it down.
I was kind of hoping Ward could help me out and get Dan off my ass a little bit there.
Right.
He's right there on my
record. He's breathing you down, dude. I mean, I'm starting to worry about Dan. I don't know at some point if we need to start maybe doing a power rankings, maybe a top 3 or something like that, just to see how much that changes.
Maybe as we get to the mid part of the season, we can look in and start doing some power rankings.
It'd just be interesting to see, because I feel like I change my mind every week.
Well, yeah, I mean, when we start looking at people's scores and different moves that they made.
It's like the more I go home and I sit and kind of scrutinize
as people get hurt, it changes some rosters. So,
depth means something to me. Yeah. Like whenever you have nothing to replace your guys with,
right?
I look at that as, a knock for your durability to get through the season. Yeah. So, but anyway, nonetheless, we're going to go with a big win there for Big Fish. Scott, that one falls on you, buddy. I mean, everybody can make the right moves. Everybody can make the wrong moves. You made the wrong moves this week. Cost you a win. Cost you first place in the division for at least one more week. But good for you. I'm not looking great.
Right on. We'll be right back.
All right, moving right into game number 3 was Johnson versus Beats by Ray. Team Johnson stays winless there. Beats by Ray getting his first win of the season with a big 175-point outburst. The weekly top scorer, narrowly missing the season high score so far. Missed it by 4 points, it sounds like.
But still a great week for him.
Yeah, and while you were walking up there starting the camera, we were talking off camera about Beats by Ray's roster there, and I stand by what I said, that I think his roster just continues to get better as the season goes on with some of these guys that are kind of finding their new roles and kind of taking off with it. Quentin Johnson,
Right.
George Pickens. Obviously, we talked about James Cook being the guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he seems to be him.
But even like his receiving staff, they were going into the season all the number twos on their team that have kind of just taken over their
Yeah,
teams.
just happenstance, injuries, and it just kind of is working out for him. The more I think about it, though, is I'm not so sure if you throw Dan in the ring with Beats by Ray, if that wouldn't be a pretty interesting wide receiver matchup to see if Big Fish is, or I'm sorry, Beat by Ray, if his 3 wide receivers would equal the output of Dan's big 2, and I think they'd be pretty darn close.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a pretty good roster of wideouts right there, and obviously it shows this week with that big point score. But I mean, I still think Dan has a little edge on.
I think Dan is just because they got more of a track record. Their consistency is going to stay in for 17 games for them.
Right.
That's going to be the issue where we're looking at with Beats by Ray. Is Quentin Johnson going to be able to hold the ball all season long? Odunze, the Bears, just offensively are just kind of like Jekyll and Hyde sometimes. So
right.
It'll be interesting to see, but obviously he has the potential to be as good as anybody in the league. And I think he might even have a week where he's struggled to score 90 points. So that's kind of what we're all up against right now.
Everybody's going to fall into that. Team Johnson, we talked about that trade with, A.J. Brown for Tyler Warren. He actually benefited this week from that.
Yep.
The only problem is he just didn't get help anywhere else hardly at all. So.
I know, and it wouldn't have worked out in his favor, but I tried to trade Mark for Tyler Warren and never got even a response. But I really feel like that could be a move that he needs to at least entertain.
Yeah.
Is shopping him around because
his value is high right now, and if you can like a team like Mark right now where you need more pieces than just one.
Yeah.
You break him into 2 quality parts.
Exactly.
And the guys that are going to be on your roster as starters, and that kind of builds that team.
And that's what I was actually offering him was 2 starters in return for 2 starters, obviously.
But I mean, with Mark right now, though, he's looking at Warren being that keeper for next year. So it's kind of hard to let go of a keeper too. I understand that.
Yeah, but I think you made a good point. I think as once he really sits down and thinks about it and looks back at the numbers over the course of the season, I mean, it is going to be hard anymore to keep a tight end because they just don't seem to have the numbers to kind of validate it or warrant it anymore. They're just not getting enough volume like they did. I don't know. Something's changed in the last couple of seasons with tight ends.
Right.
I don't know if teams are just putting more tight ends on their roster to where it's kind of spreading it out on their own team.
Well, I mean, you look at Baltimore, once, like Isaiah Likely comes back, that's 2 quality tight ends on that team.
I remember Mark Andrews spent a good portion of last season on the free agent list because of Isaiah Likely.
Yes.
So, these are the kind of issues that George Kittle was just dropped today.
Right.
This is a guy not keeper material, but you know what I mean. Like these are high volume tight ends that are you're seeing they don't have much value anymore. So I just got to wonder how Tyler Warren's value is going to hold up over the course of the season.
Right, and like I said, right now the he's at an all-time high for what he's worth in fantasy world. So now it would be a good time. You got some of the big top teams looking to add one piece.
Yep, and I'm not a top team anymore, record-wise I am, but that's the one piece I felt like I've been needing is a steady tight end, and I wanted to do it, couldn't do it, but it'll be interesting to see.
Definitely big win. Beats by Ray. Way to show back up. We see you working on it, and it showed there. So
yeah, great win, Beats by Ray. Mark, I don't think you're gonna have too much trouble. I don't think you'll be waiting too much longer to get that first win, but we'll be here when it happens.
Keep working.
All right, we're back. The game I didn't want to talk about, but still got to be professional here. Almost wore all black, Johnny Cash style, into the studio today.
In mourning?
Yeah, in mourning. I don't know if I'm in mourning for the loss or for the loss of my players or just the whole damn gamut, Either way, JJ's masterclass definitely gave me a masterclass in what healthy players do versus not healthy players.
Yeah, and it doesn't help, like we were just talking about a little bit ago, is, when you get those injuries and it's at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
You got to sit there and just watch them guys sit with those low scores the entire game.
Yeah, it's pretty defeating knowing that they're not going to catch another ball.
Right. And then it's even worse knowing that it's not those injuries that are going to come back in a few weeks.
Yep.
Them guys are just done.
I know. Like I talked about earlier, just weird feeling. I mean, even neighbors, like, I threw him in my IR just because I can't I can't just let him fall on somebody else's roster at this point.
Right. Yeah, because you never know what's going to happen the rest of the year and going into next year. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, definitely a big loss there. You know, that kind of changes a lot how you look at the season though altogether.
It really does, but I mean, I feel like I'm already starting to kind of regroup what my view and thoughts were, and I've changed kind of my approach now. So we'll see what kind of I don't anticipate being front heavy, but if I can kind of beat trouble and work my way into playoff position, that's going to be my goal.
Well, the silver lining there is you pick up a running back off waivers who all of a sudden is kind of might be a flash in the pan too, but.
So that's what I'm hoping for. And that to me, like I feel like I'm in a do or die kind of situation. If I just sit here with my hands, sitting on my hands with these two injuries and I do nothing, I just watch my season tank.
Right.
So I went with the idea that I'm going to hope and guess that I hit a home run on the Woody Marks.
Yep.
I think I got a little lucky that nobody beat him to me because I was at the bottom of the waiver or the waiver list.
Which was kind of surprising because they just played the Colts.
I know.
And you know how everybody around here watches the Colts. You think a lot more guys were saying, oh, who is that?
Exactly. But the only reason I really landed on him is because I have Nick Chubb. And I was reading going into that week, and they were talking about Woody Marks. I'm just going to grab him because I don't want him to blow up this week and then somebody else get him because I know where I was at on that waiver list, and I don't get first dibs with those guys. So I think that's going to be a good move for me, but it's nothing in comparison to the game day decision by JJ.
Yeah, that he actually put up some big, scoring 150. We always talk about that 120 being the number. He gets up to 150. Definitely a great weekend for him. His top two, his keepers.
Yeah, steady being steady.
But how about the Gainwell pick?
I mean, it was a great move. I seen it when he did it because Drew. We were together Sunday morning before the game started. Drew came in, told me that Jaylen Warren was out, and then I go.
That was that early.
Yeah, and I immediately jump on and see that I'm the one going against Gainwell. I mean, I don't know if it was 10 minutes into the game and he's already got a touchdown.
He scored pretty quick.
Yeah, so it was probably 11 a.m. Sunday, or probably 10 a.m. Sunday, and I already feel like
33 in there.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a pretty big, nice play to pick up on a whim and get those kind of points.
Yeah, and I don't feel like I missed out on the Woody Marks thing. I actually feel like I found him, so I was never going to be able to play him in that game.
Yeah, even if you played him, you're still not
going to
lose
game anyway. So yeah,
I don't think it really cost you not putting him in the lineup there. So
it was just getting my first loss and moving on. So that's what I'm doing.
But JJ's masterclass, hell of a win. Threw out some big points. So.
Yeah, at least I wasn't his first win. I did that to Dan in the first season of Dan's career.
Well, you turned Dan that year into a Super Bowl contender.
I turned him into fantasy football guru that year, didn't I?
He went from 0-6 to Super Bowl.
He was ready to quit.
I'm sure he was.
Yeah. So, but anyway, it's fun. Good win for JJ's masterclass. The Jettis, tough team, man. Good luck to you the rest of the way. That's my last time seeing him.
Great job.
All right, we're back. Moving on to the next game of the week, which was Battle Buster versus Mark's Monstrous. This is one of those that kind of you look at it on paper and it looks a little bit lopsided. The more you dive into the numbers, this could have been a game that went completely different way.
Yeah, Mark could have done some things different.
And I don't think these are the reach moves that we're talking. This isn't like going off somebody's bench and just finding better numbers and plugging them in. These are moves that I feel like he probably should have made.
Yeah, starting Allen, a running back, over a guy like Harvey. Harvey was getting. Yeah, they're both number twos on their team, but who was getting the more touches? We talk about targets, touches, all those things. Who's getting the touches?
Yeah, and Algier too. So these are guys that he had on his roster, so he got to see their productivity, even though they weren't the guy. They were still getting, production. And he picks up a guy on Sunday and just throws him in the starting.
Allen was getting some of those goal line carries for them, but you're taking number 2 running back for the Jets, hoping for a miracle.
Right. Yeah.
Which it didn't happen.
Yeah, and so the other one for me was throwing in Trey Tucker and pulling Romeo Dobbs. He was chasing last week's numbers. It's, again, for you young fantasy players, it's something we talk about quite often. We highly recommend not doing it. And he did it in 2 facets because he got scared. He picked Romeo Dobbs up after the injury to Jaden Reed the week before, puts him in the lineup and has a dud.
Yes.
So immediately pulls him out, going off of last week's numbers, that last week's panic, okay? Trey Tucker sits on his bench, puts up a 40 spot.
Got to get him
put him in there, chasing last week's number, completely flip-flop. for a 26-point difference this week.
Right, which would have made a difference in that game.
Yep.
And that's what it just comes down to. I mean, you got to play the right guys at the right time, and Mark didn't this time. Mason, great job, great win there.
Could have done better.
He just kind of steady numbers.
Yeah.
Didn't lay no big eggs, but just
Yeah, he kind of looking over his game, it kind of resembles a stat line that I would be kind of a good day for me.
Got into that 120 that we keep talking about.
Exactly. So, nothing crazy on there. I mean, he did have Bajan's 30, but nothing ridiculous.
But, Bajan's always way up there.
He's a guy who's going to put up 30.
Love had one of his good games, so that kind of puts him up in that 120.
So my question to you is about Battle Buster's tight end predicament. And, what do you think with Laporta? I mean, do you think his value is still going to be there, or do you think he's kind of a risky play at this point?
Well, he's seen, of course, he had the great rookie season, but it's not been a whole lot lately.
It's really not.
And the bad thing about it, it's one of them guys that just as soon as you write them off or something like that, they're going to have a 2-3 touchdown game.
Yeah, and the reason I ask is because, when we're talking about some other positions, or other players, a lot of times it's, they kind of lose value because of a quarterback injury, the Jamar Chases of the world. You know what I mean? When a quarterback goes down, their numbers just don't quite hold up. Well, this isn't that situation. I mean, this guy's been with his whole career.
Yeah.
And in an offense, I know the offense is changing a little bit, but, it's just weird to me that they just don't kind of incorporate him more.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, was he playing off of who's going to get the most touches? Was he going who had the better matchup, the better projection? We don't know what his thought process was on that. We try to play the touches or target game. A lot of guys just go off projections and matchups too.
Yes, I mean, I think outside of Amon-Ra and Jahmyr Gibbs, I think what you're going to see with the rest of the skill players for the Lions is they might put up a 30 spot, and any one of them can do it.
Put 4 up
and then you're going to, so good luck trying to tread that water. But he's got enough depth on that roster. He's got a pretty deep roster, pretty good.
Well, that's the thing too is he maybe package one of them guys up.
He is willing to, by the way, if you're watching. I know he's
turn him into something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I know he's out there working it. So maybe here in the next week or so he makes a good move there with one of them guys. So
yeah, I hope to see him kind of get involved because I think he could be about a move or two away from being maybe top 3.
And you got to remember, it's a little difficult for him. He really only knows a few people in the league. It's not like you just pick up the phone and talk to somebody.
And I think he's busy because I had communicated with him a couple weeks ago in regards to Dallas Goedert. It took him a while to get back to me. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody's got a life, but I'm assuming he's probably got a lot going on, so it's hard to stay too active, and that's okay too.
Definitely a good win by him. So
yep. Mark will get back at it, man. Again, just quit chasing last week's numbers. Set a lineup and forget it, man.
Yep, go with your guy.
All right, last game of the week.
Short bus.
Yep, took it on bedtime. You guys remember bedtime? He was the guy on the phone last week. He's a nutbag. But anyway, obviously, we know short bus is undefeated, so we know how the outcome of that game was 138-121. So, we got a 120-point loser this week. So, that means you're doing things right. You just kind of ran into a buzzsaw. I looked over the game stats there. There's nothing Donnie did wrong. No special move he could have made there that's going to make up the 15-point difference. Just didn't have it that week. But for Donnie, who's seems to kind of float up into the 130s a little bit more than some of the others. I kind of think a 121 is a little bit of a letdown for him. If you ask him, he'd probably tell you the same thing.
But he's definitely going to be one of those guys. When you play him, you're gonna have to do your lineup right to get him. He's not just going to make it easy.
And that's kind of what I was getting at. I don't think you're going to get a 110-point win against him. You're going to have to score the 120 that we talk about over and over. So I don't think he's dipped down below it.
And then not only that, he's been pretty active, trying to make some trades. Made a trade. He's trying to improve that team, so maybe even got a lot better just now.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot to look forward to there.
Yeah, he's a guy he'll trade. I mean, he's obviously was begging on the phone last week. He offered me a couple trades, just didn't really work out for what I was after. Obviously, given the injuries to me last weekend, everybody should know what I'm after. All right, we're back in record time. We are already on the segment to start picking the games of the upcoming week. That being said, wanted to go back and dive into last week's pick, and that was a bit of a debacle.
Hey, somebody please text us in the chat and let us know what our record was last week.
Yeah, if you find it,
we have no idea.
I just scrolled the last 45 minutes of our video last week, which we always do it at the end. And I swear we started off talking about the first game of the week, never picked it. I only got us down for 3 picks, man. And then we just talked for an hour straight about nothing.
You do talk a lot.
Can't help it, dude. Sorry, guys. Anyway, if that's what we're going to go by, that's what we have right now. With that being said, just as a quick little, follow up to that, with the 3 that I do know we have, you were 2-1, I was 2-1, so we'll kind of add that in as needed moving forward here. But let's get right into it.
Right into it. Let's go. Our matchup right out the gate.
Yeah.
Little brotherly love or brotherly shove.
Yeah, and I mean, what a week to play me, right?
I mean, yeah.
I actually feel like you would rather play me with a full schedule.
Yeah, that's what I would rather.
Yeah, because you don't want me coming back here next week with excuses.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
It's not that that's coming. I don't want you to come back and beat me with that team.
With that team.
Oh
my god,
the team that you're putting out there.
I actually do like. It's not going to beat you, but I do like the odd roster I have this week. It's different,
strange roster,
and I'm actually curious to see if I'm able to produce some decent points with it. I don't think I think your running backs alone are just enough to beat me this week. With what's going on with Chase Brown, I mean, he is. I think more
in general.
I really feel like more than even Jamar Chase, it's affecting Chase Brown.
Well, what's strange about it is you think having a quarterback that they got to deal with this year, they check the ball down and the ball off.
You would think so, and I mean, he's on the must sits this week. If you watch any of
I think the whole offense might be on the must.
Yeah, it's getting rough there in Cincinnati. So I don't like where his season's at right now. I'm not ready to write him off. I know he's going to kind of bounce back, but this is going to be an easy pick for me. It's going to be an easy pick against me. So I know we're going to be unanimous in this one. I'll let you kind of.
Yeah, I'm going to just off the injuries alone. I mean, not to say I've got an injury on my team. Mine's not nearly what you're going through. I know Bucky's in a boot in my flex. Good thing I drafted some backups there.
Right.
Give me a reason to put Hampton right in the lineup, who's been producing well. So, but yeah, I'm going to take me on this. I got me at about 8.
Yeah, I mean, I got you by double digits, honestly. I think ESPN projections doesn't even have me getting 100. I actually think I'm going to break 100. I actually think I'm actually going to get over 110. I don't see me getting over 120. I see you kind of still rocking and rolling around 130, if not a little bit more than that.
Well, the thing is,
sky's the limit for that roster of yours, though. So
the thing is, I know I got to actually get the points out of the running back because my wideouts this year, I don't even know if I even scored 10, 15 points a game with 2 wideouts. So,
yeah, but
I mean, it's not there for me. So I mean,
but in my just kind of my I don't know, my opinion is I don't feel like the wideouts are just having a great year in general, just overall.
Well, you got a couple guys that are. I mean, obviously Dan's guys are carrying his, but those big names that you always thought about with Jettis and Chase and CD being hurt, all those names that you're used to hearing. It was kind of. I did actually go back and look at the rankings on wideouts, and we were seeing guys like Odunze up in the top 5.
Yeah.
And, Keenan Allen in the top 10.
Yeah.
And it's like, go back and look at some of those rankings, and you'd be like, oh my god, what kind of, who would have thought this at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, really, really, really kind of weird. But that said, I mean, I'm just going to go with you here. It's just kind of the easy, safe bet. So
yeah,
hopefully I'll get the upset, knock you off the win, or give you the first loss. But I'm not anticipating this week to be that week. So moving on to the next one.
We're going JJ's Masterclass against Big Fish. I personally leaning Big Fish on this one. I do think he's got a pretty solid roster. His wideouts probably the best in the league. JJ's Masterclass. Do you have a running back this week?
Yeah, that's alarming.
That I don't know that he even has a guy to even play really. I mean,
yeah, so just kind of touching on what you're just talking about there, when I looked it over, that's kind of going to be the basis of my pick here. I'm also going to go Big Fish. And you said it right. Like, does he have running backs? And we're asking, do you have running backs? He's going to have running backs in those spots. But, I mean, are they even the starters for their team on Sunday? And that's what my question is.
I mean, when you're only getting guys that are getting 3, 4, 5 touches a game, Man, you better hope they capitalize on those.
Yeah, no, I agree. And just to kind of throw a number out there, just because of the guy I traded this week, because I had to have this conversation with Drew about being worried about another running back taking carries from a guy.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams, he was worried about. I had to rest assured, like, dude, he got 16 carries. You know what I mean? That was the low of the season that last week against the Colts.
Right.
So we got guys that are being thrown in lineups at running back position that are getting 4 and 5 carries in a game.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean that alone, I think that's going to do again this week.
I agree.
I think big fish, big over 10.
Yeah, I got this one by 10 plus as well. So I think we're going to be unanimous on that one as well. Starting off same way, first 2 games of the week. Let's move on to the next one.
Mark's Monsters against Team Johnson. This will be interesting. I'm leaning actually Johnson on this one. Get that first win. I know it's got to happen. But looking at the rosters, I think it's the better roster of the two.
Yeah.
Again, running back, what's Mark's Monsters? What do you got in your lineup? I mean,
he's got a new Jets running back.
I mean, his number one is Harvey, which is the second guy option on that team. And that's his best running back right now.
I mean, so he's showing the tendency of the thing that we talk about, and we talk about it enough to try to steer you guys away from doing it, about chasing last week's number. And if you look at that lineup, and he's got David Montgomery sitting on his bench, and R.J. Harvey, and a guy that I can't remember his name right now, this guy who's the new running
backup,
Isaiah Davis.
Yeah, for the Jets.
Yeah, for the Jets. Okay, so those are 2 guys starting in place of David Montgomery because David Montgomery had a bad week last week.
What gets you is, Montgomery gets number 2 running back on his team kind of touches. But of all the guys that you're going to take the backup running back on a team, that's the guy to have.
Yeah, I mean, he has a 30-point game this year.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the guys that he's put in could combine your points for the season and not hit 30.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't understand that move at all. Maybe he just hasn't updated his lineup to this point.
I mean, I'm gonna say that might be a thing because Donnie, I've looked over at his roster and he was involved in that trade.
Yeah,
he also has not really
updated. It's just kind of gone through.
So if that's the case, but I mean, we're going to go with what we have.
But even if he makes that move into his lineup, I'm still going Team Johnson on that. I think he's got the better roster.
Yeah, I think it's long overdue for Johnson. I think this is the week. I think Mark's going to start, or Mark Fincham is going to start kind of overplaying his.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to start costing him games. He cost himself a game last week. I could see him cost himself a game this week. Maybe not, because like you said, I think Mark Johnson has the better roster.
Yeah.
But, these decisions are very costly, and I can see him kind of making some bad ones. So we're same on that one, too, starting off three games in a row.
Double-digit win there, too, for Johnson.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So that's going to put us even Steven. So far, we picked nothing, no differences. But I can assure you, I've looked ahead at the last 3 games. We haven't picked the last 3 games right at all. So, I mean, the same. Yeah. So we will have some discrepancies moving forward. And that 3rd game or 4th game of the week is going to be Battle Buster versus Twin Bowers.
Yeah, I'm leaning Battle Buster this way. I mean, I know Drew's kind of been piecing and clawing and updating and getting on that thing and working on it. It seems like every day at night. I know he's just got a lot to overcome when where all those guys just keep getting hurt. I mean, Warren gets hurt. I mean,
yeah,
Benson gets hurt. I mean, he makes a move and then that guy gets hurt. I just think he's kind of in that spot right now where that's killing his season. So Battle Buster's where I got going with this one. I still think it's going to be a close game. I got it at about 2 points, 2-3 points.
Yeah, so, I mean, I got it as a pick 'em. I'm going to go with Drew on this one, and I didn't necessarily write down the reason, but I just feel like the Bijan Robinson bye and the injury to Terry McLaurin. To me, that's the 2 heaviest hitters on his roster, and they're not there. That's got to mean something.
Right.
And when we're talking about a game that we're already struggling to find too much of a discrepancy, I'm going to use that as my determining factor in who I'm picking. And
well,
for
what that
alone,
same theory is, though, Drew, his 2 heavy hitters aren't there either. He's got CD that's hurt, and he's got DK Metcalf on bye.
Right, but that's where I just feel like I feel like Drew's activity
Well, yeah,
helping him.
yeah.
So I could be wrong. Again, I mean, this
But
is,
I got it pretty close. I got it too, so I'm pretty close to a pick 'em there.
yeah.
That could go who makes the wrong move in their lineup.
I think it's what it's actually going to be is what one of these random guys that are playing this weekend that aren't the kind of the normal star players. Which one of those guys is going to have that elevated
The
game?
projected for 6 and gets 15.
Yeah,
or 20.
And I think that could be what the difference is. Is one of those guys having them this week. So
Yeah.
I went with Twin Bowers on this one. You got Battle Buster. That's all right. Let's get on to the next one.
I know Ball versus Beats by Ray. This ought to be a great one.
I actually think that this couldn't come at a better time. I think like for the matchup, I should say. So the way I described it, I got Beats by Ray's going this way.
It's trending
I
up.
got kind of Braden's kind of peaked in
Yeah.
week 2 to me. Not to say he's not going to get back there, but I don't think he's going to do it anytime soon.
Right.
I was almost spot on my prediction for coffee or for Braden last week. Used to be coffee creamers, now I know ball.
Yeah.
Within to the points that I said he was going to get, the downside of how his trending, weeks have gone. I mean, I was almost spot on in what happened with him last week.
Well, he's been riding that high of it, and I think now things are starting to go to catch up with him. Baker's a little dinged up.
Yep.
Godwin's coming back. I think some of those things are going to start to catch up to him. He'll come back to some average numbers.
Yeah, and so that's where, and this is going to kind of help me lead right into it. That's where it actually has me leaning towards Beats by Ray here, and the reason is, as I look at it, I have, based on whatever happenstances are going on for Brian Ball, he's got 2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the starting lineup this week, a quarterback and I believe a receiver. What scares me about it is they're playing Seattle. And Seattle's can be a tough team to put up a lot of points on.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're throwing a quarterback and a receiver, you're banking on a lot of points being scored.
Yep.
So that, I think, is, again, when we're talking about a close game.
Yeah, and the thing that we kind of talked about off air here, but it was Lamar Jackson. To me, the way I explained it to you was, with Lamar Jackson in the lineup, which he currently does not have him in the lineup, but if he plays, I've got Braden winning. So that's what the pick I'm going with. On records, Braden winning. I do think it's going to be tough for him to win without Lamar Jackson. But on record, I'm going I know Ball.
Yeah, and he doesn't have – oh, yeah, he does. It's not a quarterback. It's a receiver and a running back. So a little bit more important because you got Mayfield, right?
Yeah, I got Mayfield.
Yeah. So, but a little note there is Beats by Ray has Godwin. So they're all kind of all guys going against each other in the same game.
I hope all of them guys score a lot of touchdowns receiving because I got Baker.
Well, Seattle need that defense. All right. So
on record, I'm going I know Ball. I got him by about 4. Lamar not being there is going to hurt him, but
yeah, I got the same kind of spread. I just got to go in the other way. I explained it earlier.
Definitely
I know he's missing
a great matchup.
Yeah, I know he's missing Odunze, and that could kind of hurt. But I'm going to stick with my guns on that one and think that Tampa Bay not having the greatest matchup there. It's in Seattle as well. I talk about this at home a lot. That east to west coast or west to east coast travel, I am very leery about choosing the road players when they go from one end of the country to the other,
right.
And that is from Tampa, Florida to Seattle, Washington. Yep. Well, that's going to be jet lag city.
Yep. Definitely going to be a great game though between the two of them, and probably two of the, like you said, Beats is one of the up and coming teams, and
I could see this being a playoff
and
preview.
Braden coming back to reality a little bit, so this is going to be a great one.
Yeah, it is. Kind of set our league in motion as far as who is the real heavy hitters here. So I'm going to go Beats by Ray. You got I know Ball. We'll see what happens.
Right on.
Last game of the week.
It's the Grumpy Old Man Trophy. Team Warden against Bedtime.
Gosh, they need it. This should be.
That should be a rivalry game.
It should be a rivalry game because these are two grouchy.
Maybe we're going to have to bring a rivalry weekend next week, and that could be a pretty good trophy for them. The Grumpy Old Man game.
We should just film and put these guys in the chairs when they're weekly.
That'd be about a 4-hour video.
They talk about we ramble on too much. Anyway, let's get on to it, though. Warden's got some bye week issues this week, looks like.
Yeah, I think Caleb being off, his tight end Pitts, who just had a great game.
I know, and everybody's been waiting for it, but that might be a good thing. Go ahead.
And the big thing is Jaden Daniels coming back for Bedtime.
Yeah, so is it going to be Jaden Daniels? Is it going to be the Jaden Daniels you expect? Is he going to be on kind of a pitch count? But he also doesn't have weapons that he usually has. So
right. So just going off that, Williams being off this week, Daniel's coming back this week is why I gave that edge to bedtime this week. Um, I still think, Genty ain't going to have the game he had last week. I think, I think it's Donnie's game to have this one. I got him winning by 2. I think it's going to be a pretty good game, though.
Okay, so we're gonna go opposite here, and I want to make this my pick of the week. Okay, because I think this is going to be the one I'm standing on. That I'm right.
Down.
I'm doubling down.
Doubling down.
I'm right and you're wrong.
All right.
All right, and I think it's matchups. Okay, if you look over Scott's roster, he is playing the defenses that are just, giving up gaudy numbers.
Right.
Dallas Cowboys, Carolina Panthers, Miami Dolphins, Tennessee.
Carolina Panthers shut out a team.
Yeah, but they've given up a lot of yards and whatnot to others. Tennessee, has just been getting cooked. So and it's up and down his. I bet you on his, on our app we have the color coded to your matchup, whether it's green if it's good, red if it's bad.
Yeah.
I bet you his is all green. And then I look over at Donnie's. You got Saquon Barkley going up against Denver. That can be a stingy defense.
Yep.
You got Jaden Daniels going up against the Chargers, and the Chargers, I believe, are ranked 6th, right, or in the top 6. Defense, yes. So I just think it's a bad matchup week for him.
Yeah, but I kind of think my vision of that game is more of a shootout. I think it's just going to be both teams, whoever has the ball last.
Yeah.
So that's why with Daniels coming back, he gets into a shootout with your guy there. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick to my guns here, man, and I'm gonna go with the Warden. I think Scott's got this one. I think it's actually going to be by 8+. I don't think it's going to be as close as we're.
That means Chase is going to have to show back up.
Yeah, but I think it's going to happen.
He's going to have a game,
and that's just it. Like
you ain't going to hold him down all year.
Just because he's not getting 25 doesn't mean 14's not serviceable.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what I was dealing with Tyreek Hill before the injury was understanding that just because it's not what it used to be doesn't mean there's not value there.
Yeah. So where's Scott going with the quarterback on there?
He went with Kyler Murray, so it's not a bad move because
not a bad move. Right?
He also is playing against Marvin Harrison. So it's a way to kind of get back in some of those points if Marvin Harrison does have a blow up game.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's a serviceable backup guy there. To me, it came down to that quarterback matchup though.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. Like I said, he's got multiple guys in my opinion playing pretty good team. I don't know that he's going to need Ja'Marr Chase to have a big game, to be honest with you. And he's going against Detroit, so it's probably going to be tough. But I just think the matchups are so good for the other players. I don't think
very well could be.
So that's the picks this week, guys. All right, last segment of the show. Game's already underway. We already got a touchdown on the board from San Francisco.
Yep.
Looks like a tight end is still sitting on that waiver wire. I've been keeping my eye on him here lately, so we'll see if that's not enough to get some people to bite on him. But nonetheless, last few things we want to touch on is payment. Mark Finch was paid off now. That 20 sitting on my dresser. I forgot to grab it on my way over here, by the way. But I think that brings us up to 5 or 6 that I've paid. Again, you know who you are. If you haven't paid, we're not going to be the mafia come knocking on your door yet. But, just reach out. Let us know, hey, even if it's not, hey, I'll pay you in a couple weeks, don't make us have to, don't make us have to track you down to pay something you owe. I don't want to be that. Nobody likes getting telemarketers calling or bill collectors calling. Well, don't make me call you.
What's always great about the guy that always pays late, he ends up winning. And guess who wants to be paid the next day?
It's always that guy.
It's always that guy.
Yeah. So let's get it paid up, and he'll pay you out the next day. Yep. What else we got, Jason?
Other than that, like I said, we've been trying to keep this video a little bit streamlined. Keep moving it. Not rambling on, not getting as drunk as much, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Not just sitting here having a conversation, letting them watch it.
But you're welcome to come watch us have
conversations. Yeah, you guys come hang out for real. So we got payment. We need get subscribers up so we can do a live episode.
Yeah, I think we're still not even to 20.
Yeah. I know I can generate some more if I just start
What's
sending it out to
crazy
our
about it is
family.
I think we're around 20, and I think 3 of them live in this house.
Yeah, go figure.
So yeah, not just you, but people you know.
Yeah,
just tell them to subscribe just so we get the number.
I had my son's mom subscribe to it. Just because we talk, I'm like, hey, just jump on YouTube and subscribe to my channel real quick. I need to hit 50.
Yeah,
She
Dan,
did it, no
have mom
problem.
show you how to do it.
Yeah, she had no problem doing it. It's not that she watches the video; she knew what we're trying to do here. So again, that's the people you know, the people you hang out with. Hey, you go on there, subscribe, and it'll help us help you guys out.
Yeah, it'd be a lot more fun to do a podcast style show,
Yeah,
and not having to do it like we've been doing it. But
absolutely.
not that we don't have fun with it.
Yeah, and then Donnie brought up a good point last week that I think is something we could incorporate if somebody was up for it. We just need kind of a willing participant, somebody willing to kind of come on and be on a video call. We'll kind of zoom you in, whether it be FaceTime or Zoom. I have both capabilities on my phone, so I could kind of screen share that to the TV behind us, or put a TV right here so everybody on the TV or on the camera could see, and kind of have a in studio guest that way. So if you're willing to, Mason or Makai, I know you guys live a little bit further away. If you guys want to put a face to the name for some of the other people in the league, reach out to one of us and let us know, man. We'll get you on here. Love to have you.
Yep.
So other than that, good luck to you guys this week, man. I'm sure we probably missed a lot, probably hit a lot. It's kind of the nature of the beast with what we're doing here. Yep. Somebody will call us out, and if not, that's all right too. We'll keep doing it anyway.
That's okay. They're not going to stop us.
Good luck, man.